Ford and Ram just dropped a warning that could shake the entire automotive industry. If you're thinking about buying a Carrara-owned stock in any automaker, what you hear today could either save your financial future or destroy it right now. Stellantis, the company behind Ram, Jeep, and Dodge just reported a staggering $2.7 billion loss in a single quarter. But the real shocker, what Ford's CEO revealed in a private emergency meeting last week, sending shockwaves through every Detroit boardroom. Meet Jennifer, a loyal Ram 1500 owner. She's been waiting 2 years to upgrade her 2019 truck. Last month, she walked into a dealership expecting a smooth trade-in. Instead, her 2019 Ram was worth $8,000 less than she'd budgeted. The new truck she wanted carried a sticker price $15,000 higher. Then just 18 months ago, Jennifer walked out empty-handed, and she's far from alone. Millions of buyers are making the same choice, a crisis of unsold inventory that's bleeding manufacturers dry while dealerships sit on billions of dollars in vehicles nobody can afford. Here's the part Ford and Ram executives aren't shouting about in press releases. This isn't just about high prices or economic uncertainty. It's about a fundamental shift in consumer behavior that threatens the business model that sustained the American auto industry for decades. The question isn't whether these companies survive today, it's whether they'll exist when buyers are ready to return. Jennifer's story is a warning. For 2 years, she watched the market, expecting to trade up, just like her father did. She expected the equity in her truck to grow, but instead, it vanished overnight. The new truck she wanted, $15,000 more than last check. The incentives, gone. The monthly payment, half her take-home pay. No down payment, no extended loan, nothing worked. Across America, the same story is playing out. Showroom traffic drops. Contracts are canceled mid-signature, and rows of unsold trucks sit idle. The American ritual of trade in trade up. Drive Home Proud has broken down. Stellantis is $2.7 billion. Loss isn't just a number, it's a wake-up call. Ford's $4 billion in warranty costs, driven by recalls and quality complaints, shows that every misstep now carries consequences that can wipe out years of profit. Dealerships are paying interest on vehicles nobody wants. Floor plan costs have tripled since 2020, and staff cuts are accelerating. This isn't isolated. The entire American auto industry, built on loyalty, upward mobility, and repeat buyers, is facing a reckoning. Pickups, once the golden goose of Detroit, are now a liability. Here's how it happened. Early 2020, the global supply chain snapped. Factories shut down. Microchips vanished. Assembly lines paused. When production resumed, scarcity drove prices through the roof. Dealers auctioned used trucks for more than MSRP. Manufacturers misread the moment and raised prices even higher. Cutting incentives, buyers stretched loans to 84, then 96 months, rolling negative equity into new purchases. By late 2022, the chip shortage eased, but now dealers were stuck with overpriced inventory and buyers walking away. Showrooms filled, trade-in values collapsed, and monthly payments became unaffordable. Dealerships, once cash machines, are now financial traps. Tom Woodford in Indiana watches a lot packed with F-150s, 113 days of supply. Short-term loan interest racking up $115,000 per month. Overflow storage costs $4,000 a month. Balloon payments loom. And the customers, still absent. Ford executives gathered behind closed doors in mid-September. The numbers were brutal. Swelling inventory, rising warranty costs, a generation of buyers disappearing. The old certainty that Americans would return for a new truck. No matter the price is gone, Stellantis faces the same storm. R&C billion lost. Executives debate cutting prices, doubling down on electric trucks, or begging for government relief. But the core problem remains. Buyers have vanished, and trucks keep piling up. The warning is clear. The business model that built Detroit's giants is collapsing. Electric vehicles offer a future, but margins are thin, and demand is uncertain. Legacy pickups, once profit powerhouses, now threaten bankruptcy for both dealers and manufacturers. For buyers like Jennifer or Ree, stuck underwater on a Ram Rebel, the pain is real. Trade-in values have fallen more than 25%. Auto loan delinquency rates are climbing back to 2009 levels. Repossession agents are working overtime. Families face impossible choices: make the car payment or buy groceries. The numbers tell the story: 113 days of unsold inventory. Floor plan interest rates approaching 9%. Nearly a quarter of mid-sized dealerships could shut down next year. Ford and Ram's warning is no longer hypothetically. The question now is whether Detroit's giants can rebuild trust, adapt their models, and survive a market that has finally started saying no. Ford and Ram just dropped a warning that could shake the American auto industry to its core. And if you're thinking about buying a Carrera-owned stock in any automaker, what you hear today could save your financial future or destroy it right now. Stellantis, the company behind Ram, Jeep, and Dodge, just reported a staggering $2.7 billion loss in a single quarter. But the real shocker: what Ford's CEO revealed in a private emergency meeting last week, a revelation that sent shockwaves through every Detroit boardroom. Meet Jennifer. She's a loyal Ram 1500 owner, waiting 2 years to trade up. She walked into her dealership last month expecting the usual upgrade and got slammed. Her 2019 Ram trade-in worth $8,000 less than she expected. The truck she wanted, sticker price $15,000 higher than 18 months ago. Jennifer walked out empty-handed, and she's far from alone. Millions of buyers are doing the same thing. Showrooms are full of unsold trucks. Manufacturers are bleeding cash, and dealerships are trapped under billions of dollars in inventory nobody can afford. Here's the real problem: Ford and Ram executives aren't shouting about this. Isn't just about high prices or inflation. This is a fundamental shift in consumer behavior, one that threatens the very business model that built the American auto industry. Question isn't whether Detroit survives this crisis, whether these companies exist when customers are finally ready to buy again. The collapse of the American pickup dream. For decades, pickups weren't just trucks, they were a promise: pride, hard work, upward mobility. Jennifer's story is a microcosm of a system breaking down. She expected equity in her truck to grow. Instead, it vanished overnight. New trucks, $15,000 more than last check. Incentives, gone. Monthly payments, half her take-home pay. Across the country, the same story repeats. Showroom traffic drops. Contracts canceled mid. Unsold trucks sit idle in rows, gathering dust. The American ritual of trade in, trade up, drive home proud has collapsed. The numbers that terrify Detroit: Stellantis, $2.7 billion. Loss is more than a headline, it's a warning flare. Ford's $4 billion in warranty costs, enough to wipe out years of profit in a single year. Dealerships are drowning. 113 days of inventory, nearly double a healthy supply. Interest piling up at $115,000 a month for short-term loans. Overflow storage costs $4,000 plus per month. Floor plan rates approaching 9%. Every unsold truck is a liability. Every empty showroom echoes a warning. The old playbook no longer works. How it all went wrong: it started in early 2020. Supply chain collapse, factories closed, microchips vanished, assembly lines paused. Scarcity boom, dealers auctioned used trucks for above MSRP. Price surge, manufacturers misread the moment. Hiked prices, cut incentives, buyers stretched loans to 84, then 96 months, rolling negative equity into new purchases. Inventory glut. By late 2022, the chip shortage eased. But now, dealers were stuck with overpriced trucks nobody could afford. The result? Buyers walked away, trade-in values collapsed, and showrooms filled with vehicles that can't sell. The human cost: Jennifer isn't alone. Ree, who bought her Ram Rebel in 2017, trade-in values down 25%. Delinquency rates on auto loans are back to 2009 levels. Families face impossible choices: make the car payment or buy groceries. Across the country, thousands of dealerships are at risk. Nearly 1 in 4 mid-sized dealerships may close by next year. Floor plan costs, balloon payments, and rising interest rates are pushing the entire system to the edge. Detroit's dilemma: Ford and Stellantis are facing the same question. How do we survive when buyers have disappeared? Ford, for $1 billion in warranty costs, swelling inventory, shrinking buyers. Stellantis, $2.7 billion loss in a single quarter. Struggling to pivot to electric trucks, the reality: The business model that built Detroit's empire's loyalty, trade-ins repeat. Buyers is collapsing. Legacy trucks, once cash machines, now threaten bankruptcy. Electric vehicles offer a future, but margins are thin and demand is uncertain. What happens next? The crisis isn't just financial lids. Cultural pickups were once the heart of Detroit. They symbolized hard work and identity. Now they're a liability, a reminder that the old rules no longer apply. Every unsold truck, every canceled sale, every underwater loan tells the same story. The American auto industry is at a crossroads. The question isn't how many trucks Detroit can sell, it's whether anyone will buy. Ford and Ram have issued their warning. The old playbook is broken. Dealers and manufacturers alike are facing a storm that could reshape the American auto industry forever. Ford and Ram just issued a massive warning for the automotive industry. And if you're thinking about buying a car or own stock in any automaker, this could either save your financial future or destroy it completely. Right now, while you're watching this video, Stellantis, the company that owns Ram, Jeep, and Dodge just reported a catastrophic $2.7 billion loss in a single quarter. But that's not the scary part. The scary part is what Ford's CEO said in an emergency meeting last week that sent shockwaves through every boardroom in Detroit. Meet Jennifer, a loyal Ram truck owner who's been waiting 2 years to upgrade her 201-91500 last month. She walked into her local dealer and discovered her trade-in was worth $8,000 less than she expected, while the new truck she wanted had a sticker price $15,000, higher than the same model cost just 18 months ago. Jennifer walked out empty-handed, and she's not alone. Millions of customers are doing the same thing, creating an inventory crisis that's bleeding manufacturers dry while dealerships sit on billions of dollars worth of vehicles nobody can afford. But here's the warning that Ford and Ram executives are whispering in closed-door meetings. This isn't just about high prices or economic uncertainty. This is about a fundamental shift in consumer behavior that threatens to destroy the business model that sustained the American auto industry for decades. The question isn't whether these companies will survive the current crisis, it's whether they'll still exist when customers finally decide they're ready to buy cars again. Jennifer's story begins with hope and ends in disbelief. She's owned her Ram 1500 since 2019, the kind of truck that once promised security and pride. For 2 years, she watched the market expecting to trade up just like her father did and his father before him. Instead, she walked into the dealership and found her equity had vanished. The number on the trade-in offer, $8,000 less than she'd budgeted. Almost a year's worth of payments erased overnight. The truck she wanted, a familiar trim, now wore a sticker price $15,000 higher than the last time she checked. That's not a typo. $15,000 added in just 18 months. The salesman shrugged. The incentives were gone. No rebates, no deals, just a monthly payment that would swallow half her take-home pay. Jennifer did the math in her head. Even with a bigger down payment, even if she stretched the loan to 7 years, the numbers didn't work. She ran her hand along the fender, remembering when a new truck was a reward for hard work, not a financial trap. She left the keys in her pocket and walked out. She's not alone. Across the country, millions of buyers are making the same decision. Showroom traffic has dropped. Contracts are canceled mid-signature, and the echo of empty footsteps bounces off unsold trucks lined up in rows. The American ritual, trade in, trade up, drive home proud, has broken down. For Jennifer, the dealership was no longer a place of possibility, but a wall. Her old truck still runs, but the promise of something better has faded. The dream of the new, the reliable, the reward for loyalty. That's what's missing now. And every time another buyer like Jennifer walks away, it's not just a lost sale. It's a warning shot, ricocheting from dealer lots to Detroit boardrooms. The numbers on the window sticker aren't just high. They're a signal that something fundamental has changed. And the people forced to walk away are the first to feel it. Stellantis released its quarterly earnings, and the numbers landed like a punch to the gut. A $2.7 billion loss. 1 quarter wiped out. The culprit? A mountain of unsold Ram trucks, price tags that kept climbing, and a wave of buyers who simply stopped showing up. For years, Detroit's business model has depended on Americans like Jennifer trading up, signing for 7-year loans, and driving home in trucks that cost more than some houses. Now, that cycle has collapsed. Executives at Stellantis and Ford watched as their balance sheets bled red. Stellantis slashed nearly 2,500 jobs, canceled old Ram 500 models, and tried to pivot to newer, pricier versions. But the inventory kept piling up. Ford, facing its own crisis, saw warranty costs explode past $4 billion in a single year. Driven by a surge in recalls and quality complaints, that's not just a line item. That's enough to wipe out years of profit for entire divisions. Inside Detroit boardrooms, the mood turned from confident to desperate. The old playbook, raise prices, push incentives, keep the assembly lines running, no longer works. Every empty showroom, every canceled contract echoes through company ledgers. The losses aren't theoretical. They're measured in layoffs, shuttered service centers, and dealerships teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. For Stellantis, the $2.7 billion quarterly deficit is more than a financial setback. It's a warning flare. Ford's $4 billion warranty bill means every quality slip. Every failed recall now carries a cost that can't be ignored. Dealers sit on lots worth $25 to $40 million, paying interest on trucks nobody wants. Watching floor plan costs triple since 2020, banks demand balloon payments. Staff are cut. Service departments sit idle, waiting for customers who never arrive. The pain isn't limited to one company or one unlucky buyer. It's systemic. The American auto industry, once built on loyalty and upward mobility, now faces a reckoning, measured in billions. As the financial hemorrhage spreads, the question shifts from who can afford a new truck to whether the companies themselves can survive the storm. Pickups have always been more than vehicles. For Detroit, they are the lifeblood of the business. The one product that could be counted on to keep the lights on, pay dividends, and fund the next big bet. Ford and Ram built their empires on this foundation, selling the dream of the open road to generations of Americans. Every ad, every sponsorship, every Super Bowl halftime show hammered home the same message. Real men drive trucks. The F-150 and Ram 1500 became more than models. They were badges of honor, symbols of hard work, and the ticket to upward mobility for millions of middle-aged men. But behind the chrome and country music, the math was simple. Trucks brought in margins that sedans and compacts never could. On a $70,000 pickup, manufacturers could clear $12,000 or more in profit, enough to bankroll research, cover recall costs, and keep shareholders happy. For years, this formula worked. Buyers lined up, trading in last year's model for something bigger, tougher, and more expensive. The cycle was self-reinforcing. Price hikes were shrugged off. Loans stretched longer, and loyalty programs kept drivers coming back. Marketers leaned into the culture, painting pickups as essential tools for fathers, contractors, and anyone who wanted to project strength. The numbers backed it up. In 2023, over 80% of full-size truck buyers were men between 35 and 64. For them, owning a truck wasn't just about transportation. It was about identity. Ford and Ram counted on that. They bet everything on the idea that, no matter the price, Americans would keep coming back for more. But now, with buyers walking away and lots overflowing, that bet looks reckless. The business model that once guaranteed profit has become a trap. Every unsold truck on a dealer lot is a reminder that the old rules don't work anymore. And for the first time in decades, the question isn't how many trucks Detroit can sell. It's whether anyone is still willing to buy. In early 2020, the global supply chain snapped. Factories in Asia shut down, ports backed up, and a wave of panic buying hit every corner of the auto industry. Suddenly, the microchips that control everything from transmissions to touchscreens were nowhere to be found. Assembly lines in Michigan and Kentucky sat idle for weeks, sometimes months. Ford and Ram slashed production targets, but the backlog just kept growing. By the time new trucks finally rolled off the line, demand had exploded. Dealers auctioned used pickups for more than their original sticker price. In some cities, a 2-year-old F-150 or Ram 1500 sold for $5,000 over MSRP, an upside-down world where depreciation vanished overnight. But scarcity breeds its own problems. As inventory dried up, manufacturers misread the moment. They raised prices, betting that buyers would keep paying whatever it took. Stellantis led the charge, hiking Ram prices faster than any rival. Ford followed suit, trimming incentives, cutting rebates, and watching as monthly payments soared past $750 for a new truck. Buyers desperate for wheels stretched loans to 84 months. Then 96. The average down payment shrank, and more families rolled negative equity from old loans into new ones, setting the stage for disaster. The chip shortage eased in late 2022, but by then the damage was done. Dealers flushed with overpriced inventory found themselves trapped. Wholesale values for used trucks collapsed. Trade-in offers dropped by $8,000 or more in a matter of months. Buyers who paid top dollar just a year earlier now owed more than their trucks were worth. The same scarcity that drove prices sky high flipped into a glut almost overnight. Showrooms filled with unsold vehicles, and the sticker shock sent customers fleeing. The spiral from chip drought to overpricing to inventory gridlock left both buyers and sellers stranded, each blaming the other for a crisis nobody saw coming. Dealerships once thrived on a steady rhythm. Trucks in, trucks out, cash flowing like clockwork. That rhythm is gone. On a muggy July afternoon in Indiana, Tom Woodford's principal stares at a lot packed corner to corner with unsold F-150s. The numbers are relentless. A 113-day supply of new vehicles, almost double what's considered healthy. Each one sits on a short-term loan, the so-called floor plan, racking up interest by the hour.